Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII on the Mysterious JG. Low spawn rate plus low drop rate of Metaguard, and even lower drop rate of Golden Metaguard has led to me not getting the rewards I was hoping for from the off-screening in some cases, but we've got Golden Metaguard at last. How is it different? Well, this is Metaguard. 25% physical, 25% magic resistance, 10 ATB cost. I guess I did have another Metaguard level 1. But this gives us the same thing plus maximum HP plus 150. More importantly, I've now got 3 different Metaguards. So the question is, should I be using Metaguard on my other slots? And the answer is probably no. This is giving us 40% resistance versus 25% resistance. And that's 43. But the real thing is, Metaguard tends to drain away your action points because you're just pressing and holding it to get health back. So I am going to hold on to those and not actively use them. I'm going to have just one. Well, maybe I'm being dumb. This is the schema I want to be in when defending. And I'll tell you why. I've got Infidel Shield is giving me 160 defense. This shield is giving me 0 guard defense. Guard efficiency plus 15. This is giving me 100. But the real thing is, this increases resistance to physical and resistance to defaith. This is restoring ATB to standby schema when using physical attacks, but greatly reduces magic resistance and increases resistance to protect. This one, and I got this, I think, I don't remember where I got this. I thought it might have been from beating the Omni Skeleton, but it wasn't. Increases physical resistance by 75%, but greatly decreases strength and magic. So now I've got, this is why it's all nothing on this except healing ability for myself and putting debuffs on others, because defense on this is greatly increased, but offense is garbage. So I'm using these two for offense and this for defense. So maybe I want to switch to having Metaguard, but right now my mind is organized around, I've got Metaguard on the thing that I want to be using anytime I'm guarding anyway, because it's taking less damage. I'm going to try to keep Chronostasis going, but I need to eventually be prepared for the fact that game time has to pass.
Keep up if you can.
These fights are pretty damn quick now. Barely had time to get my healing done from the Cactuar fight before we'd killed this thing. Got Imperil, but it's improved Imperil. Now I'm picking up a lot of, never mind, Imperil is not something I'm currently got equipped anywhere, but if I ever equip it, I'll equip Dos Equis. I mean, I will equip it with extra golden power. Okay, I got turned around here. I need to be heading this way. Fighting enemies on the way to keep my EP up. There's a little sign, presumably from the Velna Raiders, or the ruffian guys.
I will fight evil. Switch it up.
Potentially switch to get this victory pose. She's got some weird quotes that she says when killing enemies in Chaos Goddess Knight form. Which I guess you might expect from somebody who's fighting for the Goddess of Chaos. Alright. Cut down another Sagin. Really, it's just a matter of time before one of them shows up as a ultimate glowing with weird purple power enemy. Fang makes a huge difference, and part of it, I think more so than her doing damage, she is making it easier to stagger enemies. Because her attacks, I think, are commando style, which means they maintain the stagger meter while I'm switching around doing different things. So, not as useful as you might think another party member should be as far as like dealing damage and taking hits or even healing you. But she can... Oh, that was weird. It's like an enemy spawned in here and then they realized, oh wait, that enemy type doesn't belong in this hex, and make it disappear. And it is a shame you can't bring Fang with you other places. She would be quite handy. If I could have her in like I would love to bring her along in the
Time to repent.
trying to heal up because I think we're about to win.
Time to mix it up.
Yeah, do you see that? It's only doing 1 damage, those magic attacks. Because her magic and physical are like 100% reduced. Because I was seeing stuff do 1 damage before against those Omni enemies, and they're like, oh no, they've got super defense, and now I'm realizing, oh, I think it's the unusual... Oh, god dang it! I didn't realize that, I need to remember this going forward. Chamber of Dusk, for future reference, I could have teleported right in here. Oh well. Teleport. Bowser's evil test. Teleport. I don't know how many of these guys I think you have to kill a lot before they stop spawning. I think you've got to kill quite a few of those guys before they stop. So I'm not real worried about killing them off anytime soon, but eventually it'll happen and I'll get some kind of reward for it, I suppose. Alright, so now... And I was enjoying playing this game last week, but wanted to take a little break. And not wanting to advance too far. Now I'm finally like, oh, okay, I can actually play the freaking game. Location of a time door has been registered on the map. I guess I'll be fighting quite a few of this enemy pattern here, because normally skeletons are a main enemy here, and I've wiped them out. Didn't even arrive in time to finish it. Fang also, as the instructions pointed out to us, she's got special combat techniques. Getting lots of little wimpy spells, but we should have a variety to feed to things to level them up. But she has attacks that are centered around doing extra damage when the enemy has been debuffed. Great!
I will fight evil.
So that's good. I like this Chaos Knight armor outfit that she's got. I wish I could set it up so that this is what she appears in. This is how she appears as we're walking around on the screen, but it's not the default when she starts out in a combat, because I'd actually be better off starting as Passion Rogue, throwing down Deprotect and De-Shell and maybe Poison before switching to something else. But instead, yeah. Not the exact battle strategy I would use, but I'm willing to have things be slightly different.
Time for a counterattack.
Yeah. These individual gremlins are not going to be a threat. We now have gremlins outnumbered in some of these fights, so... And I don't know what happens if they're extinct. Do we just stop getting encounters here? I mean, theoretically, we'd reach a point where there's no enemies to fight here. But there are certain enemies, like gremlins and niblets. I believe it's really hard to make them extinct. So they continue to appear as little wimpy, non-threatening enemies. Regardless. So this is a big... this is the upper level of the ruins. Then there is the ruins, then there is dry floodlands, then there is Atomos' sands, and... Never mind, I thought these things were all connected, and I guess they are eventually. But, it gets a bit convoluted. On these ruins.
These ruins, but it's no good. There are no records left.
It's no good, I just can't read. Alright, continue your speech there. Sorry you got cut off. Continue your codec call, Hope.
You can't even date them with all your technology?
Chaos
Fuck,
has
man.
distorted both space and time. We can no longer trust our scientific measurements to be accurate.
Uh-huh.
I thought it might help you find the Clavis if I could find out more about who built these ruins and why, but it looks like that's simply not possible.
Oh, well, you tried, kid.
Disappear. Let's switch it up.
So these fights are like... You kind of wish there was a, Earthbound thing where you just automatically win if the enemies are a certain amount below your level. Okay, so that was just made to look like we could get through, but we never really could. Ow.
I was bored anyway.
Headbutted right in the junk by that guy.
Let's switch it up.
Just cut you right in the face with a giant purple sword. Almost phallic, except it's cutting people. Alright. A Nakra cameo. Slow level 2. I like that. Let's see. Slow level 1. 25 cost, 15 magic effect time. If we were to replace it with slow level 2. And it's a gold slow level 2, so it's Slightly longer effect time. Actually, I don't like the golden added thing as much. This is maximum HP plus. This is lasting a little bit longer. We'll go. It's lasting longer, and that's slow. Doesn't have a long duration on most of these enemies. So even the ones who can be hit by it, it doesn't tend to last very long.
You can't read me. Enemy down.
Another crystal.
All clear.
So the big problem here, as far as my strategy of trying to keep chronostasis maintained, is that we're fighting enemies that give us very little bang for our buck on EP. But as far as the enemies being a threat to us, they are not.
It's hard to believe that up until 13 years ago, Vanille and I were stuck in that crystal pillar. It was a long sleep. Well, hell, it's been hundreds of years since the days we fought together, as you see. And before we met, I was stuck. Together, we can't lose!
I'm gonna interrupt you right now!
I'll bring back lost time.
Anyway, would you like to continue your anecdote? Not really an anecdote, she's just saying, it's tough to believe that we've been separated for so long. Anyway, let's continue killing Gremlins.
You're the oldest hag on the planet. Not that I'll ever act my age. Wouldn't be much fun.
Alright, well now I can definitely throw down a chronostasis, because this fight will involve us getting back a bunch of EP, because this is a... I was wondering about this, because I remembered the mechanic of those Earth Eater enemies just completely blocking a hallway and needing to be defeated to advance the main story. So what happens if they're already extinct? Well, I guess you just get a free pass in this room.
Together and we can do it. I'll take you to the unseen void.
I thought I was hitting Metagard, but okay.
Let's switch it up.
Okay. I really do need to occasionally sit in a, even if I'm not using it, sit in some other schema just to let red points rebuild. And that's one where I think I can get a bunch of points by stagger points if I hit it while it's trying to swallow me, but you also, if you do it wrong, you take a lot of damage, so.
Keep up if you can.
Okay, let's just try to win.
Unfurl the wings of death.
Because it has a thing like after the first or second stagger, there's a whole pattern to it. It's like fighting a boss every time. It's getting the status ailment resistance buffs periodically. Poison doesn't last on it very long at all, but I still like to apply it because it is guaranteed to damage. Deed Protect back on, because that's good, if nothing else for, nothing else that's really good for Fang.
The goddess makes me powerful.
Curse Hunters were just this. This is the special fun of having
Let me change course.
anytime it says I don't feel so good, you pretty much got to start
Them down. You think you can be
blocking right away, because it's going to do an area of effect
powerful.
status ailment attack.
Keep up if you can. You think you can be damn it. Let's switch it up.
Seems like Fang took a beating at some point.
I'll bring back lost time. Time for action. The goddess makes me powerful. I'll bring back lost time.
Getting close.
I'll take you to the unseen void.
Should be able to stagger it again soon.
Time to repent. Time for action.
Almost didn't get the meta garden time there.
Time to cut them down.
Stagger would be really good here.
I will fight evil.
Okay, no crystal drop, but that is one that's blocking a path in a plot dungeon. So for some folks, that'll be the first time they ever fought and defeat one of these things. As it probably was for me when I was playing this years ago, not as part of a Let's Play.
Fang, you got this?
This should be easier. This fight should be easier than the last one was.
Get the enemy on its toes.
Okay. Tattered leather. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So what's our big reward for fighting one of those guys? A Warden Talisman. Take a look. Oh, we also got a Nakra cameo, increases resistance to Imperil. Okay. Warden Talisman increases resistance to Curse. Well, alright, those are situationally useful items. Obviously. So far, almost all of these timer puzzles are like... you just have to take a slightly different path within the same, like, you know, we haven't really come across ones that are seriously infringing your movement yet. A white strap. Allowing you to ease into it, baby. Increase resistance to fog. Fog, I think, is the one that stops you from using magic, so that would be quite useful. And if I was coming across enemies that were using fog a lot, like I certainly wouldn't. I couldn't get a whole lot out of my Midnight Rogue or whatever it is class if I couldn't use magic, because right now they've got no physical attacks, just magic. Getting a lot of tattered leather off those guys. I think the deal with the Gremlins is that we don't see what they really look like because they're wearing those weird leathered covers. They're kind of like Jawas in the design sense. We don't really know what they look like because they're covered with stuff.
Unfurl the wings of death.
Unfurl the wings of dead goblins. Now, the goblins do have wings, and they are covered with leather, but if they are considered, therefore, to be furled...
You see strange devices all over the ruins. Nothing we've done has ever made
It's
them
a
work.
magic device.
Why don't you try your savior magic?
Why are you sounding so... You're so smug about the fact that I'm the savior. It's like, you know, that would be like if the apostles were like, you know, walking on the road to Emmaus, or I'm probably pronouncing it, with Jesus, and they're like, Jesus, oh look, Jesus, there's I don't want to say magical device, but they're walking down the road with Jesus, and there's a tree, and says, oh, you know, Jesus, look there, that tree is not given fruit for a long time. Maybe you should try your savior magic, Jesus, huh? Jesus, big savior, big man, huh? You're so great. Like, that's kind of the sense of this here. Device has been activated by the Savior's power. Oh, the Savior's so good. Oh, you're going to save everyone's souls from eternal damnation. Ooh, it's so wonderful for you. Like, I don't get it. There are triggered doors within the ruins of the dead dunes. If you talk about a subject matter that makes them emotionally upset and you don't give them a triggered door warning, they will close. These triggered doors are marked with a red symbol. You will be able to open these doors by finding devices marked with the same red symbol and activating them. When you find your path blocked by one of these triggered doors, look for a device nearby that shares the same red symbol. Okay. Again, this is the game entering into more of a traditional RPG puzzle mode. I don't know why I'm walking this way. I can clearly tell this path is blocked. More gremlins. There are skeletons ahead. I assume they will not be able to actively beat combat skeletons because we've wiped them out.
I was just getting started.
You didn't even get an attack off. Oh, the Savior's awesome magical power. Ooh.
What? It's not like I'm working you to the bone.
What?
There's something here that'll probably only react to you and your fancy saviorhood. So have a look at it, would you? Come on.
Oh, so you got very snotty about us wanting to go over here, which makes me want to go over there even more. But first of all, we'll freeze time. And then we'll go back to the map screen. She doesn't want us going... Is this going to lead to someplace we've been... No, we gotta... Considering that she stopped us from even walking down here, Lightning's savior senses really gave her a good sense of what the tunnel ahead would have looked like had she been allowed to walk into it. Odd. But not so odd that I'm scared to play more. What a weird transition. But yeah, I'm going to call it a video there. When we come back next time, guys, we will continue with what... The more I think back, the more I remember this being kind of my favorite chunk of the game. It's weird. I like this game in that it's as close to... This is really when Final Fantasy was still playing around with... Because there had been a Final Fantasy MMORPG, and then that one would be scrapped and replaced with a new one, which I think is still going, with many different updates and whatnot. But they're playing around with that stuff now by having a bunch of NPC-driven quests set. I've never played any MMORPG, actually, but you hear enough to get a sense of, oh, there's quest givers in the city, and you can reset quests. But this game is playing with that idea by having most of the areas that you can play the game in are kind of a city, or there's two cities. There's a wilderness area that has a settlement. This is the desert area, which really has a bandit settlement. What am I on about? I've lost all my train of thought. Other than to say that, yeah, like some of the Lightning and her friends, like the cities feel more lived in and real than in prior games. Where Final Fantasy 13, you never get to openly explore anything. Final Fantasy 13-2, all of the NPCs and cities, just, I don't know, they never quite came off for me. Cities in this game don't fully come off either, but they feel more lived in. Not to mention Lightning. It's just a slightly more interesting character, I guess. So there's open world roam aspects of this game are what make me like it the most amongst the Final Fantasy 13 games. But this section, which is the most traditional, like, there is a big dungeon you have to explore. You will not be meeting a restaurateur who wants you to find his son and get a Niblet hairball recipe quest. You're just plain old exploring a maze full of monsters and unlocking doors and magical puzzles. It's the most traditional straight-out RPG section, and it's my favorite section of a game that I like for not doing a lot of traditional RPG stuff. It's odd. But I'm liking it, and I hope you like it too, and we'll be back for more next time.